Welcome to the Merick Ulrik podcast, special edition, Deadpool and Wolverine movie review. Stay tuned. We got a lot to talk about. All right, welcome to the Merick Ulrik podcast, special edition, Deadpool and Wolverine midnight review. And it is 11:47 p.m. on Friday night, so we're just a little bit before midnight, but we'll call it the midnight review. So my guest tonight on our panel is fantasy author Cleve Bourbon. We have drummer from the band Loose Helmet, Nate Glenn. And I'm your host, Merick Ulrik. We just got done watching Deadpool and Wolverine, and I don't want to do any spoilers right off. We're going to talk about the movie, non-spoilers for the first 15 minutes or so, and then we might give some spoilers afterwards. So, guys, thanks for being on my panel. I just want to say I thoroughly loved the movie. I thought it was really funny, and it was really good, and it was great to see Hugh Jackman back there. I think that's not a spoiler. Everybody knows that Hugh Jackman was back in the movie. It was cool how they put everything back into focus, as far as like having Hugh Jackman and Deadpool in there. And I guess they always have to toss the hero on his face in the beginning of the movie, so I thought that was pretty cool. But I thoroughly loved it. Let's see. I would rank this movie it's really hard because I have recency bias because I really like it right now. Maybe after a couple of years I can rank it better, but it's hard for me to say which is better, the first one or the third one. But I think, in my opinion, probably goes 1, 3, 2 in my ranking of Deadpool movies, because the first one was the origin story and was just so awesome. And 2 was great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as the first one. And I just think 3 was just very memorable because we had Wolverine. It was almost like a different dynamic. So that's my initial. And I want to say I will give this movie. God, I want to give it 5 stars. I want to say 4.5 stars myself because I really loved it. Cleve, your initial thoughts? What do you think, my friend?
I agree with you. I think that I also would rank it pretty high up there. I think 2, he was a little bit, Ryan Reynolds was a little bit restrained
Maybe.
probably, but this one they laid him off the chain because he was off the chain on this movie for everything that he did. I really did enjoy it. Trying not to say anything spoilery.
Yes.
But yeah, I would rank it like you did.
So 1, 3, 2 out of the best 3.
I think it would probably be a 4.5.
Yeah.
Just reserve the 0.5 for just in case
Yes.
maybe. I need to see it a couple more times because there's so
Yes.
much in it.
It's hard to get
I'll
it.
say
I
that.
want to give it a 5, but I'm cautious about giving it a 5 out of stars. If you
Yeah.
rank all 3 Deadpool movies in order of the best, how would you rank them?
Oh gosh, I would probably say this was the best. Now, the only reason I would rank it the best, other than number one, is because number one is the origin, and I get kind of tired of the origin stories, But it has to be there. You have to get the origin story. But because it's an origin story, um, there's certain restrictions they have to keep with it. You know what I'm saying? Whereas this movie is just off the chain. So I mean, it's already well established. We established everything in 1, then 2 kind of established it further along, and then this one's just off the chain. So I think it was, it'd be 1. This one number 3, then 1, then 2,
So
definitely.
3, 1, 2. 3, 1, 2 is your ranking. Nate, Glenn, what do you say, sir?
Yeah.
How would you, just your initial reaction to the movie?
Okay, my reaction might be a little bit different because I'm not typically a fan of superhero movies, but I do enjoy some of them, right? Some of them are really iconic. Some of them are good. Some of them, I could take them or leave them, right? So the first Deadpool movie I really enjoyed. I thought that was a great, first movie. I didn't watch 2, okay, so I'll be honest about that. 3, I did enjoy. I wasn't crazy about it. I would probably rank it like a 3, 3.5, right? Somewhere like that. Because I
I would,
definitely like the first movie better, but there were highlights for this movie that I really thought were great. the dialogue, the writing was just fantastic. You know, I really enjoyed all of the quips, the uh, the funny one-liners, which is basically what his character is about. Now, in the first movie, I thought his character was more relatable, more sympathetic. Okay, that's kind of where I kind of broke off from the movie. And uh, Wolverine never really warmed up. Well, I'm not gonna spoil. Sorry, I don't want to spoil, but I mean, but I did enjoy the Wolverine character being there and interacting with Deadpool. And one other thing I would say is that breaking the fourth wall was really good. It was really clever in this movie, and then they even, they did it in layers too. I would say, okay, there's layers of this going on. So definitely, the writing in the movie I thought was great.
Did you watch Logan then? So you have a framework for the Wolverine ending and how he came back. Did you watch the Logan?
I don't think so. I have watched a Wolverine movie where he was fighting
Okay.
Sabretooth, but I just don't remember. I'm not a big fan of superhero
Okay.
movies,
All right.
to be honest with
Okay.
you.
But I am a super big fan of superhero movies. And so Cleve, what did you think about how they brought the Wolverine character back? Because obviously we know how they left Wolverine with Logan. It seemed like that was going to be the end of Wolverine, so it made sense. And I think the humorous beginning, I think, might be less lost on Nate a little bit because he hasn't seen Logan. As far and I know I'm getting
Mhm.
dangerously close to spoilers, so I'll just shut up right there. But yeah. So how
Yeah.
they brought Wolverine back? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's gonna be hard without spoiling,
We can't really
but
Yeah. Okay.
do it.
Well. Okay. We
Yeah,
can't
we
really do it.
can't
We'll
really do it
just
without
pause that.
spoilers.
But I think this movie. Nate hasn't seen two. I think if you watch two, this movie would even be better because you have something to compare it to as far as like I guess two wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as the first one in my opinion, and three is just way better than two. So maybe there's I don't know when you compare those that it makes a big difference. Does anybody backstage have any comments they want to say? I'm looking for comments here. Jay, you want to add anything? Erica, I'm just leaving people backstage. They want to jump on. Anyways, we'll read their comments. Anybody wants to comment on that? Yeah, I noticed too tonight that the theater was pretty packed. So we got to the theater thinking we had tickets for tonight already in advance, and then we were sadly mistaken that we had gotten tickets Thursday night and didn't show up. And so we had to scuttle to get tickets. It was still good, but our theater was pretty packed. How was your theater, Cleve? Was it pretty packed there?
it was packed. Matter of fact, I got my nephew's ticket. I saw my
Mm-hmm.
nephew and my daughter, and I got my nephew's ticket a little bit late, and he couldn't sit with us. He had to sit up in a
Yeah,
different spot because, and it was a big theater too. It was one of the
yeah,
bigger ones, and it was packed. I mean, here in where I live, it's a multiplex, and it had, I think there was something like, I don't know, 10 theaters that had it playing, and they were all
yeah.
packed.
I think this movie is going to send a message to Hollywood that people like these kind of movies, in my opinion, because it was just simply a good old fashioned action packed movie, and they made some jokes. Okay. Well, it's hard to say without they made some. Ryan Reynolds. He put jokes in against Disney. This is a little bit of slight spoiler, but he put jokes about Disney, jokes against just a common what DEI marketplace we have. There were some jokes in there. There were, but it was good, and I think it was well represented with the characters that we have from the first and the second one. So I thought it had a very it was a very diverse movie. So you can't really say that it was not did not celebrate diversity because it was there. So anyway, so we're at 9 minutes right now, and I guess we're going to tell some spoilers pretty soon. But before we have any spoilers, anybody else want to have anything to add so far what we've talked about Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yeah, I was going to talk about a little bit about two. When two came out, you had the cameos. You had people like Brad Pitt, who was the invisible guy who didn't show up until
Yeah,
he got electrocuted and all that. And you had the team
X
and
Force,
all that kind
basically.
of stuff. Yeah, X Force, and it was all memorable. And it was there was
Yeah, I
more
want
of
more of
that.
Domino. I would love to
Um,
see Domino back.
yeah, that would have been cool. But two had its
I did.
moments. But and I liked
Hmm.
Cable and stuff, and two, I did see Logan and saw how that all
Hmm.
transpired. And when we get to the spoilery part, I have some things to say about that. But and I saw Wolverine Origins, and
Hmm.
I've seen them all. So yeah, I thought it was really a really great movie. Um, but like I said, if I would say it is number one of the
I
three, I would
want to say
say,
that, but
but I would say number
I'm just holding off on saying that because I really do feel like if it's not one, it's tied for one, in my opinion. Go ahead.
Well, I was about to say that one is very, very close, and then two is
Yeah,
not very
yeah,
far down the
yeah.
list. Is my point I'm trying to make. It's not that two is a
Right.
bad movie. It's not. It's just not
Now,
quite
this is
as
a
good as
small
three.
spoiler, but whatever happened to Wade's friend from the bar? I thought was he dead in the second one? I thought that was a cool character.
He has gotten into
Oh, that
trouble.
actor has, or
Yeah, the actor got into the
oh,
Me
okay,
Too stuff a
okay,
little
yeah.
bit.
There's a lot of actors getting in trouble,
So
getting busted for felonious behavior.
yeah, and so he kind of got
I
blackballed, I
forgot. I
think.
didn't see that.
I think that the number one when the first one when it came out was just really groundbreaking. It was very
Oh yeah.
different from anything we'd seen before and just really entertaining. So it's kind of hard to top that. But even if you continue the story, well, you've already seen the first one. It's already been done, right? But when the first one came out, there was nothing like that had really been done before.
Yeah. Well, I think the Deadpool character really does follow the comic book, and I've always wondered if Deadpool was a like a I always kind of thought that Deadpool was possibly the character Deadpool was based on a more adult version of Spider-Man, except for he was Spider-Man mixed with Wolverine, and is more adult because obviously it's a crass humor, more adult humor, and Spider-Man is just general admission, all ages, and it's not bad, but it's not. It's I would say kids under 10 should probably not go to this movie. That's just it's more for older. Obviously the humor is more adult, more dark, more. I wouldn't say it's rated. I believe it's rated R, right? I didn't even think about that, but it's rated R for a reason.
Well, I don't know about that though because we grew up with Rocky and
Yeah.
Bullwinkle. Do you remember them making any off-color jokes? I don't, but I watched them recently and I was like, oh wow, there's some off-color stuff in there, right? There's some really uh, innuendos. So I think when you do that humor the right way, children aren't normally going to catch on, right? Until they're old
Yeah.
enough. Maybe Deadpool is kind of straddling that line where they're getting a little too explicit,
No,
but
I don't think it was too
uh,
explicit. I'm just saying that it's made for an adult audience in general. It's not made for your junior
mhm,
high or
mhm.
I wouldn't say it's grade school material, which some superhero movies are. That's my opinion. I would definitely say it's adult humor.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, nowadays that would be, but when we grew up, it was kind of different. It
Yeah.
was, they just said the jokes and the kids didn't get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, there was a couple of things that he said that I didn't get. I knew I kind of followed a little bit, but I was like, okay, I'm not degenerate enough to understand what that was. There was a couple of things that like when um, the squad shows up at his birthday party. Well,
Okay.
I'm getting
Well,
spoiled,
let's go
but
ahead and okay, guys, we're gonna go ahead and move towards spoilers. We're at 13 minutes in. So guys, if you haven't seen the movie yet, we'll go ahead and I highly recommend the movie. I give it 4.5 stars. I want to say 5 stars. Nate gives it 3.5 stars, and Cleve, you gave it 5 stars or 4.5.
four and a half,
Yeah,
four
four and
and
a
a
half
half is good.
stars. So
I want to reserve
yeah, I
that
gotta
little
reserve it.
spot.
I almost need to watch it again. And this is a movie I would probably go watch again because it was very entertaining. I would probably go see it
Yeah,
again.
definitely.
And Nate, any other thoughts? You think it's a good movie people should go see? It's a funny movie, or
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm not a
he's not
normally a
he's
superhero
not a true
fan, but
believer,
I
but
did
even
enjoy
like
the movie.
an atheist of comic books is still likes it.
Right, right. I still enjoyed the movie. I didn't think it was perfect, but I thought it was good
Okay.
enough, and I enjoyed it. I would recommend it, especially if you like
Yeah.
superhero movies, or if you like the Deadpool movies, you should
I
go
don't know if
watch it.
Jay or Erica can comment. I think Erica dropped off. That's my girlfriend. But I don't know if Jay's seen it. So, but yeah, I highly recommend it. So I think it's going to be a good movie to go see again. And I'll probably, as far as like modern superhero movies, I can't think of a superhero movie that I would like to go see that I've seen in recent times that was better for me. The last movie that I enjoyed as much was probably Endgame, but Endgame was more of a different type of movie too. It wasn't as funny, but it was funny. But it was a lot of action and it was epic, save the universe type stuff. But I would say, and I did love Logan. So I know Nate hasn't seen Logan, but to me, the whole Logan story, and then you had X-23. Oh, get the spoilers here. It was so easy to say spoiler, but I just really love this movie. I think everybody should go see it if you like comic books and action, and you're not going to get, you know, you're just going to get a good movie. It's not about anything else. It's a fun, entertaining movie, and that's what I think it should be about. It's about entertainment. It's a very entertaining movie. So
Did you guys get the trailer for Venom?
no, no, wait, was that the end
Oh, you
at
missed
the beginning?
out. Yeah, I got the trailer. Yeah, I got the trailer for
Did you
Venom
watch
in mine.
did you watch the
Finding
end
Venom.
the outtakes at the end? Okay, we can talk about that at the
Mhm.
end when we get to spoilers. But I did. That was pretty cool. I think I was getting a beer or something when the beginning of the movie. So at this Venom part. So yeah, I might have missed that. All right. So anything else we want to say before we head to spoilers?
No, but I do have a spoiler I want to put in
Okay.
there.
All
I,
right.
I, this is
Okay.
kind of
Okay. Cool.
cool.
All right.
So
All right. So now you. Thanks for watching so far. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. Everything out to this point is going to be spoilers, and we're not going to hold back. So if anybody doesn't want to ruin their movie experience, come back and comment on this video, and please like and subscribe to my channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and follow, and if subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, please like this channel, whatever you listen to. But I forget to tell people that this whole time I've been doing this, I haven't asked one person to subscribe or to like a video, and I know this is going on multiple formats, so I think I have at this point 10 subscribers. So uh, call your mom, ask her to
you have to smash
come
that
call your
like.
mom, ask her to
Yeah.
subscribe to the channel and, smash the like, all that good stuff. All right. So spoilers. Go ahead, Nate. You have some spoilers you want to talk about?
Yeah. Did anyone notice how they insinuated that there's going to be another Blade movie?
Well, I did notice he said he's the only
Mhm.
Blade. I like that.
And then Deadpool looked at the camera like,
I did
Mhm.
love that. I love seeing Elektra back, and these are the original actors. And I don't remember the Gambit character being played. I guess what movie was he Gambit in? I can't remember that.
I can't remember what he was in, but Gambit wasn't. He was played by a different character, but that's one of the things I wanted to talk about was they finally got made Gambit cool this movie. He did some cool stuff and he actually did what he's supposed to do. He
Yeah,
wasn't
and I
lame.
thought it was
is
I like
Gambit always
yes, he's
Cajun
from
or was that
Louisiana.
new for
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
this?
I
and I
forgot.
think
Okay.
the jokes from Deadpool about his accent and stuff was pretty funny. I really enjoyed that. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
Deadpool's not Deadpool. Gambit's always Cajun. I really loved that we saw X-23 back, and she was like, and that one line was so iconic. He's like, "You got the wrong guy," and so you've always been the wrong guy. It's the angsty
Always been the
Wolverine. That
wrong
was
guy.
just so good. And so
Hmm. Hmm.
homework for Nate is go watch Deadpool 2 and go watch Logan because you're missing out, bro. I didn't know that you didn't see those movies, but those are like standard requirement. Like if Cleve was doing a class on comic book movies and you hadn't seen Logan or Deadpool 2, he'd probably have to be like flunky, probably. I'm sorry, Nate. We'll have to give you like a reprimand, right?
Yep.
You
Yep.
need to, yeah, you need to see them.
Need to get
Logan's
my
really good.
prerequisites.
Logan is more of
It's a dark movie.
a highbrow superhero movie kind of. It's
Hmm.
not really. It's
Yeah,
more of a. It's not really like a campy, Marvel type. It's more of
realistic, a very
a serious.
mysterious kind of superhero movie. I like it though. The Charles Xavier of
Mhm.
that was
Yeah,
so
it's
different.
yeah.
One
Yeah.
thing I want to bring up is the multiverse
It's getting
angle.
old, kind of.
And is anybody getting sick of
Yeah,
that,
kind of.
or is it just
But
me?
it's a good
You know,
plot tool because we couldn't have brought Wolverine back without a multiverse. So
I guess not. I mean, it's a very easy way to just say, okay, everything just doesn't matter, right? Anything goes. Because if something happened in one universe, you just say, okay, there's another universe where what I wanted to happen happened, right? So that seems to me like an easy way of getting out of, you know, the writing that you've done in the
yeah,
past, and it's
I don't
just
think
kind of
I don't think Cleve
proliferating.
or Merick NHL could get away with a multiverse in our book, so it probably like mess them all up because people will be like, "Ah, what the hell? This is bullshit."
It just seems to kind of cheapen everything to a certain extent, right? Like when people die, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree with that. It doesn't have the impact it should have.
Hmm, hmm.
Like if all of a sudden we had Iron Man back, for example, or something, because he came from a different, it was the Tom Cruise Iron Man or something. It would
Yeah,
cheapen it, I
I
think.
think so.
But I will say that, the Deadpool, it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter because nothing matters in Deadpool, right? Basically, that's
Right.
the whole idea. And then also he gets to make fun of the fact that they're doing multiverse, which they did.
Yeah,
They said, "Hey, isn't this kind of getting old?"
Right.
yeah,
And of course, X-23. It was cool to see her back and everything, but I was uh, I was wanting more of her to see more of her doing your. You barely even saw
yeah.
her claws.
Yeah,
What about
yeah.
okay? What was that? I was. This is something that I kind of messed up on. What was that creature that was trying to destroy them? Because was that from the freaking Thor thing that was coming to kill them? What was that?
I think that was from
Loki.
Loki,
Uh,
because Loki ended up in that nether world kind of place that they were in. I think that came from that, but I'm not 100% sure.
Or
Don't
or could it be Fenrir?
Could be. I'm not really sure.
I'm just
I
talking about Norse mythology here. I have no idea because
I think
Fenrir
it
is
was.
the giant wolf, right?
Oh yeah, there was a see Loki in the Loki series. They went to a place like that, but I didn't watch all of Loki, so I can't really tell you if it was or not. But I think that has something to do with that series, and of course the Loki series. That's part of the where they came in with the teleporter things. From the what do they call it, the bureau or whatever it's called.
Oh
yeah,
The
yeah,
time
that was it.
people.
That
time
was in
bureau,
that was
time
definitely in the
cops.
Loki thing, and it's also kind of
Yeah.
another thing that's kind of like that's the whole multiverse thing. The time cops can't change the timeline, but they do, and then so yeah, that's kind of weird. But I love the movie, and I think my favorite spoiler was having the original actors who played Elektra and Blade, Wesley Snipes. That to me was like just really cool and completely unexpected. And
Hmm.
my girlfriend said it was really great to watch a movie where the trailer wasn't the only good parts of the movie, because a lot of times you get a trailer and it's just like, oh, there's that thing we saw in the trailer, and the whole rest of the movie you're like a bunch of boring dialogue and walking around and talking to somebody. So it was pretty action packed. And even okay, the beginning of the movie, um, Nate hadn't seen Logan, but the whole thing about digging up digging up Logan was just kind of morbid, but kind of funny. It was really this is like really a dark, funny.
That was one of my favorite parts. Yeah, that was one of my favorite
But
parts.
It
if you
was
hadn't
great.
seen Logan, you realize that, of course, how can he die? He's Wolverine. But if you watch Logan, he dies from adamantium poisoning. So the adamantium eventually poisons him to death, and so it's causing him to
Hmm.
not. Makes sense, the chemicals they put in adamantium these days. Probably behind Big Pharma's probably behind the adamantium poisoning.
Yeah, you can't get adamantium the way
No,
you
no,
used
it's
to.
it's it's not as good. But yeah, so he didn't but I'm just really surprised that Hugh Jackman came back for this. Ryan Reynolds must have really finessed him, because he must have really made him say this is going to be a really good movie, because it's been, I want to guess, maybe 10 years since Hugh Jackman has been Wolverine. It's got to be at least that. Well, the last movie he was in was Logan. Siri, when was the movie Logan made? It's got to be 10 years. I'm not sure. 2017. I'm way wrong. So it's only been 7 years. 7 years.
Okay, that's still a long
7 years
time.
since,
Yeah,
and that was made
yeah.
in March. It was released March 2nd, 2017. And also, was the character who plays Deadpool's roommate, was that CGI? Because I know she died. The lady who played Uhura, was that Uhura?
Uhura.
Oh, my friend, another friend that thought that was her, but that's not her. That's
Oh,
Leslie
really?
Uggams.
I mean,
Yeah,
she's
it's not
wearing dark
Michelle.
glasses, so it's kind of
So
hard to
that wasn't
tell.
Uhura playing her.
Yeah,
That was a different actress.
no, it's not Michelle
No,
Nichols. It was
I was
Leslie
so confused. I
Uggams.
really
yeah.
thought that was her. So that was a different actress. Oh, that's my bad. I feel stupid. This whole time I was thinking, like, how did they get a CGI version of her? But I liked her in all the movies. She's really comical. And the dog was kind of that was the most disgusting looking dog. Let me just say, like,
That
but it was.
was, yeah.
That wasn't endearing to me, but it's a dog, so if you were around it for more than a day, you would
I'm
love it.
sure, but and also the kind of spoiler alert: the nice pool guy. It's just sad that he was the one Deadpool that didn't have healing capabilities. Of course, his face wasn't all messed up, so that makes sense that he was the
Right,
one
right.
that could get killed. So, but I gotta say, this is 4.5 stars, if not 5 stars. I have to disagree with Nate on the ranking, but I'm really glad for his opinion. That's really kind of good because like maybe me and Cleve are like in the choir singing the praises of Hallelujah, Hallelujah of Deadpool, and Nate's like, I don't know about this whole Deadpool thing. I might kind of show up to you, but so it's good to hear an outside
There's
opinion.
always
It's
one.
good to hear an output, but I have to say, it was better than good. It was great. I really do think it lived up. It lived up to my expectations, and I was a little worried that I would be disappointed. And I just really think this is a movie that everybody should enjoy. I don't care what your background is. I think everybody should enjoy this. Now, obviously, I heard something about Ryan Reynolds say about I heard something from Ryan Reynolds' wife saying that Ryan Reynolds makes superhero movies for men. It's kind of a men thing, So it's when you get a lot of movies, it is a lot of it's trying to parcel to different groups. So I'd really be like to people to comment to say if they're women and they like this movie, or if they're, you know,
I I think it's more of a Gen X
you
thing,
think,
personally. That's what it seems like to me. It's like the Gen X type of attitude and personality. It could be female, I guess, but I mean, hey, he's a guy,
yeah,
so
Well, do you know who played Lady Deadpool in the
no, I did
movie?
not
no,
It's Blake Lively, his
really.
wife.
That's cool.
really.
I
Yes.
That's good information. I didn't. That was really funny part. And then, so what was that guy, Fred, or what was the guy that everybody loves in the Deadpool universe? What's the
Oh,
character? Peter Pool. Peter Pool.
I'm trying to.
Peter.
Yeah, yeah, Peter.
And so also to get that
Yeah,
reference,
yeah,
Nate, you'd have to watch Deadpool 2 because
right. Because that guy showed up, and
he
I was like, well, who the
he
heck
puts
is that?
together X Force, which so really when you come down to it, this is a comic book type of movie. If you like the old comic books, if you read Marvel comic books, there was Wolverine was a big part of the franchise, Deadpool, and you also had X Force. And so they had a lot of fan service. I think they did really well. I think this movie is going to do really good in the theater. That's in my personal opinion. I think it's going to, and I could go see it again. I definitely could go see it again. And I missed like two scenes. I had to go to the bathroom because I was drinking, and my girlfriend kind of tuned me in on that. The whole another thing, the actor who played Captain America, it's so funny because he came back as Johnny from the Fantastic Four. That was hilarious. But he
That was
actually
the cameo.
played
Right,
that
right.
actor. That was in an act. He was actually the actor who played uh, Johnny from the Fantastic Four, I believe.
Johnny
And so
Storm.
it's
Yeah.
But when you see him, you think Captain
yeah, but
America.
he played in an earlier movie. He played Johnny Storm. Yeah. So what do you think about that, Cleve? That was pretty funny. Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. I mean, they set it up to where you're thinking, oh, it's
He's
Captain
like, my
America,
captain, my
and
captain.
okay, yeah, I was thinking, okay, they're going to set this up where he's going to come back or something. They're going to get him out of there, and we're going to have another Cap because that's another preview that we saw was Captain America, the
Yeah.
new Captain America with
Yeah.
Falcon. But anyway, I saw that it was that and the other one I mentioned earlier. I can't, my brain's not working. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And then of course he goes flame on. They're like, oh no, he's going to be Captain America. And then he goes flame on. He's
Yeah.
Johnny Storm. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was
And,
laughing.
and the
yeah. That was came out of left
the
field.
outtakes at the end where he talked about what it was just hilarious what he said about Cassandra. That was just crazy rant, and oh my god, yeah,
Because you know that didn't really happen. I mean, we watched the movie, we know that didn't happen. But in the outtakes, hey, it's
yeah, it's
there.
funny.
Kind of
Yeah, it's
interesting.
funny.
Yeah, like an alternate version of the truth.
I don't know. It was funny.
I might have missed something. I might have missed it because on our ending, did you guys have where he's going back and looking at Johnny Storm griping about
Yeah, Cassandra. Yeah,
Cassandra?
yeah.
Okay,
He
yeah, that's it.
he
Okay, yeah,
That
okay.
was after the
after the
That's
credits
credit.
the
roll.
Yeah,
one.
he
Okay,
says
yeah, I've heard
all
the
what she
credits.
does and what he wants to do to her, and he doesn't care if he boils her skin or yeah, yeah.
That's
And I
right.
thought it was
Yeah,
kind of cool too, where they
Hmm.
showed all the outtakes from X-Men. And they showed very nostalgic at the end there, that outtake when it had like the original Xavier and Wolverine and Magneto and stuff like that. So that was really funny. That was really, really
yeah.
heartfelt too.
It made it seem like
Hmm.
yeah, it made it seem like that was the end. Like that's the end of the X Men
Hmm.
franchise.
Yeah,
Is the way
it
it was
did.
playing. Is the time of your life was the song playing, and
Right.
hope you had the time of your life, and it was showing all this nostalgic stuff from
Yeah.
all the X Men movies. I was thinking,
Well,
is
I
that
mean,
it?
you
I
But
mean,
it, at the same time, I mean, Deadpool was telling Logan that, or Wolverine, that he's going to be doing this for Disney for the rest of his friggin' life.
yeah,
well, I mean, do you think? Well, first of
yeah,
all, I mean, the original X Men. It's going to be hard to have. You're not going to have the original Xavier again. You're not going to have um, Sir Ian.
yeah.
Uh, uh, yeah,
McKellen.
as a Magneto. It's just no way. I mean, his age and everything else. I mean, I would love to see him as Gandalf again, but there's just no way. I mean, they're not going to live forever, which is sad. But
Patrick
Hmm.
Stewart's
yeah,
in
he's
his
got to be
90s, isn't
frail
he?
by now. I mean, he was frail in Logan, and he played a really good role. I thought that was like his last role as far as Xavier. As far as then he also plays, you know, Captain Jean Luc Picard. So he's done a lot of stuff. But
Well, speaking of that, speaking of 90s, William Shatner is 93, and I want whatever he's drinking
Yeah.
because he looks
yeah,
really great for 93. You put all the
Right.
90 people up next to him, and it's like, okay, how is
he's
he
a little
93?
overweight,
But anyway,
but
that's
he
another.
seems happy. You know what I mean?
And he
Yeah,
has
but
been
he's.
since the 70s,
Yeah,
right? So, yeah, he's not like, it's not anything
yeah.
new.
I would guess that he was probably 79 or
I'd want to.
something. I would never
I'd want to
guess
go
he's
to a party that
93.
he was at. You know what I'm saying? I'd, I would love to see him. Yeah, that's a crazy thing. Yeah. Well, you know what? We have to. I don't know about you guys, but I think we should appreciate these actors while they're here. None of us will live forever, and I think the whole X-Men series has been great. It's been fantastic. It's good to see Hugh Jackman back once again. Whether this is his final performance or not, who knows? Because you never say never. And yeah, I think they did a great job. You know, as all those characters. And Ryan Reynolds is a wild card because there's nobody else in the superhero movies that I can think of that is his character. I know there's been multiple Spider-Mans, but I can't see anyone else doing Deadpool unless they do like a female Deadpool or something
No,
like that, because it's just very rare to see somebody so over the top like that.
Hmm. Yeah, you don't
there's
see it.
there's a character in the DC universe that's kind of similar to Deadpool in a way because they kind of exist outside the timeline a little bit. You have Deadpool. It's Booster Gold. You guys ever heard of
No, I
Booster
haven't.
Gold in DC universe? He's kind of the Deadpool kind, sort of. I mean, the people out there that are really comic book aficionados are probably thinking, "No, no, you're an idiot." But but it reminds me of that because Booster Gold is this kind of not really a superhero, but he kind of wants to be a superhero, and he kind of steals the technology, becomes a superhero. But anyway, there's one kind of similar. There seems like there's an equivalent of everything. Booster Gold is kind of like the equivalent. They were going to make a Booster Gold movie, but it was kind of Deadpoolish kind of thing. But Deadpool is pretty unique, actually,
Hmm.
as far as living in and outside of the universe of the MCU and the I guess the Fox one too. I
Yeah,
guess,
So I
but
haven't seen the cartoon, the comic of Deadpool. So would you say that Ryan Reynolds brought something to that personality and character, or is that exactly what you see in the comic?
Oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds definitely, found his, hit his stride as being Deadpool. And in the comic books, Deadpool, will turn to the reader and say stuff and stuff, just like break the fourth wall, just
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
that. But and they'll say stuff
Deadpool comic books that
out
I
of
remember
context.
were more graphic than you'd say Spider-Man. You'd see more violence, more
Yeah.
blood and gore, and more dark humor. And sometimes Punisher was gory kind of, but not humorous. So yeah,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah,
Punisher's
he's just
just Punisher.
dark. How much
Right.
more dark?
I
He's
enjoyed I enjoyed that the nice Deadpool turned to the camera and broke the fourth wall in a really lame way. That was kind of
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah, that was funny.
that was good.
What did he say? What was the word he said? He turned to the camera and he said something
The
really stupid.
proposal or something like that. Yeah, the
Yeah, he said
proposal.
something
Just
really out of
referencing a
context.
movie.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, Deadpool was like, "What?" Yeah,
And
that
what
was
was that
hilarious. Oh, no.
Honda van that he had? I forgot what it was called, but the
The
Odyssey. The
Odyssey,
fight
Honda,
between
Honda
Deadpool and
Odyssey.
Wolverine was epic. It was yeah,
Yeah,
it
in the
was so funny.
Honda.
In a Honda using seat
Yeah, that
belts.
was an
Yeah.
epic line by Deadpool where he's like, "I'm gonna fight you now." It was so funny.
Oh, and we haven't mentioned really about
Oh yeah,
Pyro. There's the actor that played Pyro was in it,
yeah. And he
and
was in the original X-Men movie, I believe, right? Yeah.
yeah, and it was the original actor. He looked a little older, and at first I didn't recognize him. Oh yeah, that's the original Pyro that was
You
in
know
it.
what? This I think Nate does bring up a valid point because Cleve, you're a little bit older than me, but not much. Maybe like 6 or 7 years older than me. And this is a Gen X movie for sure because those early X-Men movies came out when I was in my teenage years, and for a lot of people that was in their 20s when they saw those. So it is weird. We got to be honest that teenagers coming out today, they might not get all the old X-Men references, but then again, those movies have lived on. Those are still out there on Netflix and DVDs and stuff for people who are fans of comic books. The beautiful thing about it is it just lives on in some magical world on streaming. Or back in the day we had DVDs, but now it's streaming.
But
I
I
was going to
think
say a lot of
Deadpool.
DVDs. Yeah, man, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was just going to say
I was
that.
just saying.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nate. Sorry.
Well, I think that Deadpool does appeal to younger generations too, just because number one is attitude, and number two, the things that he says are in line with you know, the humor that we have today. I think.
I thought
Mm,
I thought the
I
ending
agree with
too
that.
of the movie, and I don't even want to spoil it. This is a super spoiler, but I think the ending was both kind of heroic, funny, and you know what? It was rewarding. I liked the climax of the movie, where, well, I don't even want to do this ultimate spoiler, but it was just cool to see Hugh Jackman. It was cool to see Wolverine and Deadpool working together, and neither one letting the other one sacrifice their lives without each other. So that was ultimate spoiler. So
Were you guys were you guys bothered by the breaking of physics? Any Did it go too far, or was that perfectly okay?
well, I mean, science fiction is a lot of
Specifically, the ending.
antimatter with regular matter. Is what we're talking about.
Yeah, right, right.
Well, not too much because you have to suspend your. I mean, if you're
You
thinking
have
about
to
a superhero
suspend
and
disbelief.
like someone's blasting, they're gonna have recoil and all that they don't really have in
Hmm. Hmm.
movies. So
Hmm.
then they somehow dig in and blast people. In reality, they'd be pushed really far back, and so I guess it's you have to suspend
I
that
agree with
disbelief.
Cleve 100%
Right, right,
because I'm seriously, I mean, I'm not a scientist in any kind of form or fashion. I'm a professional teller of stories. I craft believable lies, and that's what we do. We
right,
we
right.
make we Nate.
The
All
only
we do
thing,
is we make the impossible totally implausible.
right, right. The only thing I would say though, I enjoyed the ending, but they really leaned hard on the impossibility of this. Okay, they said, look, this is not going to happen. This is physics, basic physics. You will, X, Y, Z, and then ABC
But
happened.
that's like Ocean's 11. They always tell you something that they don't do it. But I thought it was
Right, right, right.
really rewarding. I liked the ending, and I could deal with the lack of this, but also uh, Wolverine and Deadpool can regenerate almost like infinitely. So I mean, like, how do they know? It's
Yeah, that's true.
ridiculous. You know,
Yeah,
they can
that's true.
regenerate from
Maybe they're the one people that could,
the only people who could do
be
that.
that.
Maybe they just had one cell left amongst the two of them, and they could regenerate like a frog that lost its tail. It could just go right back, or a lizard. I don't know. Sorry.
Right, right.
But
Like a gay frog. Yeah.
I love all frogs, gay and straight. Most of them are gay, and I love all the gay frogs in the world, especially Kermit the Frog.
Hmm,
He's my
hmm.
favorite frog.
Right, right.
Did did Channing Tatum? I'm curious now who played the first
I
Gambit
don't
in that one
remember
X Men movie.
that.
I think it was
It
Channing
had to be maybe.
Tatum Channing. I don't know if it was him or not. I think, but I seem to recall him going to play a Gambit in a film, and it never came to
Maybe. I
fruition
want to Google
or
it, but
something. I have to look it up. I'm not really sure. It seems like in the back of my mind, there's something that's been bugging
yeah,
me about that. Like, wasn't he supposed to play Gambit at
I
some
don't
point,
know.
and then it didn't happen? Kind of like
Hmm.
with in I don't know if you saw the Multiverse of Madness, where you had John Krasinski playing Reed Richards. You know, and there was a big rumor that they were going to have this new Fantastic Four movie out, and he was going to play Reed Richards, and Emily Blunt was going to play, Sue Storm and
Hmm.
stuff, and then all of a sudden, here's John Krasinski in this,
Okay,
movie
so
out of
according to
nowhere.
Google, Taylor Kitsch played Gambit in X-Men Origins, and I'm trying to see
Oh,
who
okay.
else played Gambit in other movies. If there's a was there a X what did who was there one was there a Gambit in Wolverine? I don't know. Let me look this up.
It seems like there was a Gambit.
Taylor Kitsch played Gambit.
I don't know.
He's the guy. You know what Taylor Kitsch played on? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was an '80s movie or '90s movie called "So Fucking What" or something like that. I think that's the name of the movie.
Seems like I heard about
I'll
that
take
one,
your
but I
word for
didn't
it.
Is
see
that the
it.
guy who played in that movie, Taylor Kitsch?
It sounds familiar. The name sounds familiar. I
I
can't
think that's the
picture
name of the
who that
movie.
is.
Laissez les bon temps rouler. Did you hear him say that?
SFW is the name of the movie. I guess it was technically called SFW. No, maybe it wasn't him who played in it. It was a different actor. It was Steven Dorff. I got mistaken from that. Steven Dorff played that.
Oh, Steven Dorff.
Anyways, but no, but yeah. So I don't know if Channing Tatum has played Gambit.
Oh, his
Yeah,
name's
I
hard to
can't say it
say.
right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, he was in a bunch of movies. He played some weird characters, and This Is the End. He was that was a weird character in that movie. But yeah.
Hmm.
So I would give this movie again 4.5 stars. I enjoyed it. You got to go see it. Hopefully you saw it before you heard all these spoilers. But I might go see it again when I get a chance. I probably would. I probably would go see it again. Uh,
I think that was the fullest that I've ever seen that movie theater in Bay
yeah,
City. I guess we're not like a huge
yeah. But
metropolis
you
or
know what?
anything, but
Honestly,
you don't really see that packed out
yeah, we
movie
couldn't
like
get a
that.
late stick. We had to go to a next showing, or me and my girlfriend would have sit in separate seats. So it was
Hmm.
pretty full. I think this movie's going to do really well. And anyways, I hope we see more movies like that just are just about entertaining people. It's just about fun. I don't think there was any hidden messages. And did you like the scene when uh Deadpool Wade Wilson was like talking to some guy and he said what I care I'm gonna mess it all up. He was like, what I think about abortion, war, and all this other stuff, and like you like, and that's what my total opinion. And then it cut. Like it didn't tell it what it was, but it was like giving this one guy a rundown, and that's what I think about everything,
All of
all
his
my politics.
politics.
That's what I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about it. And then it just cut right over. So it really had no politics in it. And I think that's great. I mean, just a fun movie. Whether you're on the right, the left, or you're on outer space, it doesn't really matter. It's just like, let's just be entertained. Let's not get too.
Okay, I do have a question that you might know because I don't remember this from the second movie, but I thought didn't his girlfriend, her name is Marina something. I can't think of the actress, but didn't
Yes,
she
she
die
did,
in the
but you see
second
the
one?
outtakes. He uses he
Oh,
uses
he gets her back. Yeah.
Cable's time travel machine. He fixes it and he goes back and gets her back.
Uh,
Oh
And
yeah, I
that's
remember
why
that
his
because
and when he
he
said,
shot.
"Oh, you're trying to get me because I changed time to get my girlfriend back." He went back in time and saved her life after the fact. So yes,
He did
so
mention that. Yeah.
That's right.
Deadpool
Yeah, I remember
2
now.
is darker because he loses his girlfriend, she dies, and he's kind of giving up on life and everything else. And yeah. And there's a different
Yeah, he blows
Pyro in that
himself
movie.
up.
That other character is like Pyro. It's a weird, it's an alternate universe or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, and there was yeah, I remember at the end because he kills Green Arrow, or he says he kills Ryan Reynolds from taking Green Arrow, and
Yeah, that's crazy.
from the
Was it
reason
was it kind of
like,
funny to you guys that they killed all of those, that whole crowd of Deadpools, and then they realized, oh, they regenerate.
Yeah. It
that
was
was
funny, and
funny.
also it was kind of like really like a little cheap that they're all just cool with Peter Pool like that. We all love Peter. Just let him go. Yeah, that was a little kind of cheap.
Yeah, yeah.
But I had
That seemed a little
like I don't know
easy.
why
Yeah,
they were all fighting in the first place, but it was funny. It was just I think it
yeah.
was really comic madness. It just really I think if you're reading a comic
Hmm.
book, especially like the more graphic novels, you get a little bit more gore and excitement. I think everybody wanted to see Deadpool and Wolverine fight it out. That's like a comic book, Deadpool versus Wolverine or Wolverine versus Hulk. Those are some epic comic books. And so what they were doing is just like massive fan service. That's really what it comes down to. They were just doing massive fan service. And I think it's great. I just
And what did you think of the villains? Were they kind of, interesting?
to me not so much. No.
I thought they were. The Xavier's was his
Cassandra?
twin sister. Yeah, Cassandra. I can't remember her. Can never remember her name. She was like, as it's frightening to think of Professor X as being as powerful as he is and being evil. And
Yes.
that's basically what she was. And it's like,
Yeah,
holy
that
cow,
the
that would be. There was like nothing that could stand next to her. If she decided,
Yeah,
it was over.
exactly. Because
Hmm.
Xavier with the what was that thing he put on his head when he got in that thing? He could kill all mutants with the Cerebro.
Cerebro.
So yeah, he was probably the most powerful mutant, and she was more powerful than him. So that is pretty dang scary.
Yeah, that was pretty frightening. That I liked. But I mean, they were pretty much at her whim anytime. I thought it was interesting. Her lair was pretty
It
interesting.
was like
The big giant
the husk
skull.
of was it husk of Ant Man basically, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was as the hunt of the
Yeah,
giant Ant Man.
Hmm.
that was
I
kind of
didn't know
dark.
that. Yeah,
But the whole
Yeah,
world seemed like Mad Max, and I think at some point, didn't they reference Mad Max or something? And then it went to that,
they
so it was
did.
like
Yeah,
the world they were in was like Mad Max world, so it was kind of crazy. The
yeah.
void,
It was like we can't have Mad Max. That would break IP, and then they get Mad
yeah,
Max.
like a Mad Max world.
and the saber tooth was the original saber tooth. I
Really?
noticed
Hmm.
because they had another saber tooth. Was played by I can't remember his name right now. But when you had Wolverine Origins, where he had the bone
Yeah.
claws, they had a different. That was his
No.
brother was Sabretooth, and so they had the one from the original X Men movies in this one,
And when
but it didn't
Wade
last
was
very long.
looking for a Wolverine, I thought it was really kind of cool. If you know the comic books, there was the one-eyed Wolverine. They gave him a little cameo, and I like that because he was very iconic in the comic books. The one with the eye patch and smoking a cigar, wearing a white suit. I thought that was really cool. But they just did so much fan
Yeah,
service.
that's pretty cool.
It was a good day to be a comic book fan, really. So yeah, it was really good.
Who was the one with the motorcycle? He mentioned his name, and he had kind of a unique look about him, but I don't know who
I'm
that
not sure where they
was.
referenced that from too. That's a do you know?
I
Something
don't know, but
like
they went through quite a few of the Wolverines,
he had some
from
kind of
different
name
eras.
like the Traveler or something like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but he was
The
the
little short one
motorcycle
was
guy.
funny.
The short one, yeah, the little tiny
Yeah,
one.
that was funny.
And you go, I'm me. And he's like, that's pretty
All in
funny.
all, it was a great movie, and I guess I was pretty happy with it. I'd go see it again, and
You have
I
to
know
with
because
all
I
the
missed
stuff
a
that's
few
in it.
things anyways because I went to the bathroom like twice because I I went. I was thinking we were going at 6, and I started drinking, and then it was like, wait, we're going at 8:45 or 8:50. So I already had a few beers before I went to go see the movie. So I had to have a few bathroom breaks. So just telling you. anyways, anyways, I need to get another beer. Guys, thanks for coming on. And listen, guys, if you're just listening, tuning into the American H.L. podcast, my guests tonight were Cleve Bourbon, fantasy author. He's most notable for the Tournament of Mages, and he's also has the Shadows of Yesterday series. What was that series called? Refresh my memory.
Shadows of the
Shadows of
First
the First
Trine.
Trine. And I have my guest, Nate Glenn, longtime friend, fellow musician. He's a drummer for Loose Helmet. And if he'll be playing sometime soon, somewhere probably. Who knows?
San Antonio in
That sounds
September.
great. So look up Loose Helmet if you like punk rock. Any other category you might call a Loose Helmet? They have a new album out too. But what is the name of
Weird.
Loose Helmet's new album that's been out?
Our album is just self-titled Loose Helmet. We're also doing a double album, a split with Mind Mind. If you haven't heard of Mind Mind, they are a punk band from Lake Jackson, and they're freaking awesome.
Awesome.
We love
Loose
those
Helmet. So
guys.
go check them
Yeah.
out. Their music's on YouTube and Spotify. And Cleve, thank you so much for being on, brother. We had
Sure.
your podcast on. If you want to check out more about Cleve Bourbon, you can check out my last podcast or go to clevebourbon.com, I believe. Is that right? And anyways, it's a fun night. So everybody, thank you all for listening. And we'll go ahead and end the podcast here, I guess. I had a fantastic night. It was a great time. And I'll be posting this as soon as possible so people can get our review of Deadpool and Wolverine Midnight Review. Thank you, guests. And we'll see y'all later. Thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Merick and Ulrik podcast. Please like and subscribe to this channel and tell me what movie, book, comic book, or topic you would like me to review next with our guests and who would like to be interviewed by Merick and Ulrik. Let me know, folks.